What's up? It's Tony back with another episode of the ItsTony podcast. And today I believe this will be the best podcast I have given the viewers so far. I say that because this podcast will show why I love hip hop and music so much, and it also will show why I am an idiot, why I am not as smart or as good of an album reviewer as I think. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about two albums that I re-listened to and how I was completely wrong about both of them. The first album I want to speak about is Rapsody's Please Don't Cry. So, listening to Rapsody, I'm already biased to her because I like how she raps. I like that she doesn't rap about the same specific topics that every other woman in raps about. And even when she does rap about those topics, she does it in a creative way, and she attacks it. She goes more in depth on those topics than I feel other women in rap do. So I'm already biased to her, but I'm also a bad listener when it comes to Rhapsody because what she raps about is so dense, and the music that she chooses to rap on is not usually particularly the music that I want to hear. So there are some times when I was listening to this album on the first listen where if the music wasn't good, I just skipped it. And I feel like that is why I'm an idiot, one, and that is why I was a very bad album reviewer, because I used to believe that artists had to get the consumers and the audience's attention fast so that they would listen to a song fully. But now my perspective on that has changed. I don't believe that it's their duty to get the audience to hurry up and buy into a song. I believe it's the audience's duty and job to give artists grace and take their time when they're listening to music. Don't just try to hear a bop and automatically go with that song. So that's why I believe that on a second listen, I had a better listening experience to these albums, because I didn't just try to listen and hear a bop that I like and already go to the song or choose to listen or not to listen. I believe that the artists are supposed to create their art, and when consumers listen to it, it is up to you to actually listen, to actually take something away from the art, or try to speed through the songs and gain the songs that you want to put on your playlist. And if you're listening to it with those intentions, then you will never really grasp what the artist was trying to convey with the music that they were making. So on my first listen, I did terrible. It was terrible. And I say I did terrible because on my second listen, when I didn't just listen for the bops or what sounded good musically, on the second listen, when I gave it all a chance, the things that she speaks about, even on the songs that I didn't like the instrumentation or the music, the topics and the verses that she has are profound. The album title is called Please Don't Cry, and I believe that the album title is perfect for this album. But I believe another subtitle for this album would be intersectionality. I believe that a subtitle for this album being intersectionality will be perfect for this album as well, because this whole album is about City rapping about the things that interest her and her experiences. And her experiences aren't solely woman dominant. Like, she speaks about her experiences with dealing with death, her experiences with dealing with the death of black bodies and black men, and her experiences with sexuality and how she is perceived in the rap industry. And I don't think the things that she talks about are solely what the normative black woman experiences would be. It's not just what society wants the black woman's experience to be. And that's why I believe intersectionality will be the best subtitle for it, because intersectionality is about the multiple layers that can oppress a group of people. And And this album is about the multiple things that have oppressed or traumatized Rapsody. And it's not just about her race and her gender, it's also about her sexuality, her beliefs, and her experiences as being a black woman in hip hop. One of the best bars to me in this whole album is when she speaks about being a black woman in hip hop. She says, if I rap basic, I'll be in a rave. And if I had a dick, I'll be in the greatest debates. Basically saying if she dumbed down her subject, she would be rich and even more richer than what she is already. And then she expressed where if she had a dick, she'd be in the greatest debates, basically saying exactly what she said. If she had a penis and was a man, then people would put more respect on her name and people wouldn't devalue her the way they do by not putting her in those arguments for the greatest. And I believe that what she's saying is true. The way she raps, her similes, her punchlines, her metaphors, her double entendres, the way she flows in and out of pockets, she is one of the best rappers I've ever heard. And due to her subject matter being so dense and not being so palatable to everyone, not even palatable to the group that she may identify with the most, women, I believe that is why people don't put as much respect on her name as they should. And I believe that Rapsody is an artist that deserves a second listen. Time she comes out with an album, she won't get one listen from me. She has to get two. Because on the first listen, depending on when you're listening to the album, depending on what you're expecting from her, you may not catch what she's doing now. And on the second listen, that is when you can catch it. And that's when you can actually actively listen and you can catch the greatness that she does. A lot of the things that she speaks about are put together so perfectly with the storytelling that she does. And the art of storytelling is something that I love in my hip hop. When I tell you the way she wrote about not always feeling socially accepted, the way she wrote about the male gaze, the way she wrote about trying to identify who she is. When I tell you it was a beautiful album, it's one of the best albums I heard this year. And it's a part of, I have to give her credit for being a part of like changing the way I listen to music. I can actively say that she's a part of changing the way I listen to music. She wrote this album great. Like, the only person, and I know I talk about Kendrick a lot on this pod, but the only person I could compare her to was Kendrick, with the storytelling, with the vulnerability that she had. It was beautiful. So I do want to thank her for changing the way I listen to albums. Another person that changed the way I listen to albums is Meg Thee Stallion. And if anybody listened to the podcast before where I reviewed her album and I expressed that I'm not the biggest fan of her, that has all changed in one listen. And I don't know, you might call me fickle, you might say that I'm flip-flopping, and you might find any way to explain why I'm doing that. But I would urge you to listen to her album differently after hearing this review. And I will try to explain this review in the best way to push that her album is just as great as Please Don't Cry by Rapsody. I am pushing that you listen to Please Don't Cry by Rapsody and you listen to it. I know it's a long listen and it's very dense, but you listen to that album and you see that that is a level of vulnerability and mirror work, just looking at yourself and trying to go through all the emotions and experiences that you have faced and fix who you are. And then listen to that and give it the credit that it deserves. And then go listen to Megan's self-titled album and give it the love that it deserves. these two reviews that I am giving, I promise if you listen to them, if you listen to these reviews with an open mind and just say, I want to see if he's wrong, I'm telling you, you're going to listen and you're going to like these albums. Now for Meg Thee Stallion's album review. I was wrong. I was bold-faced wrong. And the difference with Meg's album and Rapsody's album is that Rapsody already gained my respect because I respected her as a rapper. Meg Thee Stallion never had my respect as a rapper. As a black woman, of course, but as a rapper, no. Like, I was never a fan. I didn't understand why so many people liked her. I understood that she was a big artist, but I never understood, like, I never could connect to it. And that was my biggest point when I listened to it the first time. I couldn't get with the topic. I couldn't get with how could she sound so repetitive and people like it so much. And I don't want to say that she doesn't still sound repetitive. I would just say that I have found the art and the talent in what she's doing. The repetitive nature of her music is because it is doing the reversal to men in her music. Basically, it's reversing male gaze onto men. Basically saying, I know what you're here for. I know that you see me as just sexuality and body for you to lust after. So you may want my body, and I know that, but it's up to me to give it to you, and I know who I am, and I know what I am worth. So if I give it to you, okay, fine and dandy, you can have it, but you can only have it if I allow it. Her whole album is about autonomy. It's about women empowerment, but I knew that it was about women empowerment, but I thought that it was so generic. But it's not when you really listen to it, and when you also pay attention to the sequencing of the album. Beginning, she starts with Hiss, and it's a great song. It's one of her best and most vulnerable songs on the album. And she talks a lot about empowerment and how her vagina is the topic in everybody's mouth, and who she's messing with and having sex with is the main focus that everybody is talking about. And when I first listened to it, I'm just thinking, okay, yeah, but then when you really digest it for the second time, you see that yes, it's talking about that, but it's also speaking on the same thing Rapsody was speaking about with the male gaze as well, because it's saying that my vagina and what I do with my body is the topic, because patriarchy and misogyny and the male gaze is what pushes the society we live in. So any choices that I make and any decisions that I choose to move forward with, it becomes a headline. It becomes something for everybody to talk about and make money off of. And when you think about that, you see how deep and layered what Meg Thee Stallion is doing. It's about empowerment, but it's also saying, I don't care that you guys are looking at me this way. I don't care that you only see me this way. I'm doing what I want, and nobody can stop what I'm doing. It's about pro-choice. It's about having control of you. It's about not letting other people affect you. It's about reversing the male gaze. It's about saying that it's the woman gaze now. It's how we view men and how we want to use men. And I knew that a lot of her songs was about empowerment and using men the way she wants to use them, and getting the benefits from men the way men get the benefits from women sexually and stuff like that. But I didn't understand it enough. The talent and the art behind Meg's music is her perspective. It's the woman's perspective, and how she depicts that perspective is where you find the talent and the beauty in her art, because you see that from her perspective, she is confident. She seems sure about herself, and she seems secure in the fact that she knows people are going to judge her, but it doesn't matter, because she was going to be judged whether she wore whether she wore clothes with her ass out or whether she wore a dress that went all the way down to her ankles and didn't show a curve at all. She's saying that I want to be in control. She's saying that I won't let nobody else be in control of me. I don't care if people hate or judge me. They were going to do that anyway, and I am okay with it. Now, the thing that even makes it even more beautiful is that confidence, the security, the certainty that she has in the way that she carries herself. I won't say that it's a fraud, but it's a mask. It's a mask that covers up the pain that she feels, the mask that covers up the real issues that she is dealing with. On songs like Moody Girl, on songs like Cobra, you see that she is dealing with real life issues that has nothing to do with her body, has nothing to do with her sexuality, has nothing to do with her sexual preferences. They are real issues, and the shaking her ass and making music that is more geared to partying and stuff is a part of masking all of those feelings. On a song on the album called Moody Girl, she asks a question that shows the mask that she's holding up. She says, "Why do you love me? I'm broken. Is it the way that I hold my throat open?" Saying like, you don't even know you don't even know why you love me. You don't even know that I'm broken, but you see what I offer sexually with the oral sex, she's saying. You see that, so that's what you're attracted to. That's what you love. You don't know that I'm hurting inside. All you see is the hot girl, and that is the thing that she says repeatedly in all her song. Hot girl shit, and all of that is a mask. I don't know for certainty if that is what she's trying to do, but when I'm listening, that is what I believe, and I believe that with 99.9% in my body that is what she's doing. And I believe that is what make Megan a genius to me, because hot girl and the empowerment, I believe that she believes in all of those things, but I believe that that is all a mask to cover up what is really hurting her. Like on Cobra, when she says she's dealing with death, she's having a drinking problem, and because of her grieving and feeling alone, she's dealing with all of these things. But what she uses as a mask is the drinking that can blind her and make her not think about all of those things that are really hurting her. And the hot girl summer, hot girl activities, all of those things are putting a mask over what is really hurting her. And I believe that is genius. I believe that the reason Meg Thee Stallion's music is so palatable is because she wants to talk about things that are serious to her, but I don't know if she is ready yet to get that vulnerable. I believe that she's ready to be that vulnerable in spurts, but I don't believe that she's ready to be as vulnerable yet in her music, because her music is a part of masking all of those things up. I don't believe that she's ready to get that vulnerable in her music, because then it may become real. Then it may become something that is put on Front Street. And throughout the album, she talks about people going against her, people coming together to wish bad on her. And I don't know if she is scared that if she puts the real vulnerability out in the open, that they might use that against her. I can be reaching, but listen to the album. Listen to the sequencing. Why would you start with this empowering song about people hating on you, about people using your body, your vagina as a topic? Go through a whole body of music and you're keeping on with the empowering. Then you get to the end and you have two songs back to back, where one you say that you're broken, and then the next song you say that you have problems with drinking, you're having problems with grieving, and all of these real vulnerable things. Why would you do that? And the way people listen to music, me included, if you don't like a whole album, if you don't like the start of an album, you usually don't get to the end of it. So you might think all the album is talking about is shaking my ass and party music and all of those things, until you go through the whole album and you see at the end she's still faced with real topics. She's still faced with real experiences and real trauma. Meg is a genius. Meg is a genius to me because she fooled me. She fooled me to believe that she's being generic, and she may be still being generic in the way that she says certain things, like in a song like Break His Heart. That is a very empowering song because it's basically pulling a you on men. Like, you ever heard of this? If you have a girlfriend or anything, like if you have a partner, women, in my experience, a lot of women said men hate when you pull a you on you. Like, they hate when you pull a them on them. Like, treat them how they treat you. In that song, she talks about her body, her vagina, being able to break somebody's heart. About her having her vagina being so good that men fall in love, but she's only there for one thing. So she goes through the whole album doing that over and over, pushing that she don't care about these men, that she's in control and all of that, just to get to the end and say that I'm broken, that you only love me because all of the things that I already spoke about the things I could do with my body, about the things that I can do with pause, her throat and stuff like that, and what she could do with her vagina, just to get to the end and say that I'm broken and that I have issues with drinking, being vulnerable, feeling alone, and grief. Come on. I don't know if I'm right. Matter of fact, I know I'm confident that I'm right. And if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. But the only person that could prove me wrong is Meg Thee Stallion. But if we had a conversation, and I ain't nobody for her to have a conversation with. So I'm right in my opinion. I am right, and I believe that you should give these albums a second listen. I do believe musically, I think that she got her message off to me, but I think that the way she raps, the repetitiveness is art, is a part of the story that she's telling, but I want her to get a little bit more creative in her storytelling. I want her to take some of the things from Rapsody and be more dense with her storytelling and go deeper than the surface. But then that's the same thing that I would say for Rapsody. I want Rapsody to be less dense. Some of the things that she's talking about is too dense, and it doesn't allow her to get appreciated as much as she should. Rapsody is a great artist. Meg Thee Stallion with this album has proved to me that she is a great artist. They need to steal some things from each other and become a blend of talking about the same things, but using what each other does great and picking up from one another. I would love to hear them on a song together. I would love for Rapsody to pick the concept of that song and get Megan to do it in her own more palatable way to get people to listen, but also have Rapsody rapping her ass off so y'all both could blend fans. I believe that they're two different sides of the same coin, of woman empowerment, of vulnerability, of intersectionality. I believe that they are great. And I believe that I am an idiot and I was wrong. And I apologize to both of the ladies, but I apologize more to Meg because, like I said, I already had respect for Rapsody. I just didn't like how dense her album was, and it was very long. So I apologize for that, but I really apologize to Meg because I feel like that album, I slept on it and I listened to it entirely wrong. Thanks for watching. I'm just a 23-year-old nigga from Brooklyn with an opinion, but some of my opinions is facts. And the only way to make my opinions false is for you to comment down with proof or comment down with another perspective. Interact with me. I'm thankful for you guys watching, whoever watches, and hope I see you next time.